I have run over 1,000 Facebook ads over the past 2 years and generated over $100,000 in jewelry sales, again, over the past few years using Facebook ads to get customers for jewelry business on. And in this video, I will go through all the steps to run a killer Facebook ad and get a bunch of customers to actually walk into your shop and be able to get referrals from those customers and get those customers to come back again and again and buy really expensive stuff. So this video is going to be all about how to create traffic and basically advertise on Facebook. So we're going to go step by step. And at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you exactly where you can go to get the full training, click by click training on how to actually set a Facebook ad and get a bunch of leads, get a bunch of customers, right? So the first step is you have to create a Facebook page. So the reason we created Facebook pages and not do it just on our personal Facebook page, we have to create a business Facebook page, is that we want to separate business and our personal stuff. Obviously, a bunch of stuff goes wrong when you run Facebook ads sometimes, obviously, not all the time, but sometimes something will go wrong with the payment, something will go wrong with, they will ban your account. Again, these sound like really serious stuff. Don't worry, it's not. But we want to separate business and personal, all right? Number two is the ability to actually track performances and scale properly, right? So you get a bunch of tools that you won't get on your personal account if you run ads, if you just start boosting posts. On the other hand, if you actually run a Facebook ad properly from a business page, you will get access to all the tools that Meta has to offer. We want access to those tools because it helps, right? Especially tracking, right? Now, again, as I said, advertising tools, that is why we just separate it from our personal account. Now, it will kind of look like this. You will just go click on the settings and then click here on settings and privacy. And then you will you will click on see all profiles and then you will click create new page. And then you'll go through all the steps. It's going to tell you your name, photo, all this sort of stuff. Don't worry, it's not complicated. It's just click through. It will give you step by step what to do. You will basically just fill in all the information. And once you have that ready, is that you have to create a Meta business account. Now, this, for me at least, it sounded confusing at first, but it's basically just a separate account than your personal business page. All right. So you will go to business.facebook.com and it will kind of throw you into this landing page here where you will just log in with your actual normal Facebook account, not the page that you just created, your Facebook page. It sounds confusing because it's a separate page, but you have to log in with your normal page. Again, it's confusing, but don't worry. Meta is so big, the platform is so big, so it gets complicated. And honestly, there is a bunch of criticism about the platform because it's a little bit shitty, right? So this is sort of a shitty thing that you have to create a business platform, but using your personal Facebook account. It kind of gets in your head at first. Don't worry, it's a one-time setup. You will never have to do this again in your life, all right? So you just log in with your normal Facebook account and you will have a Meta business account, right? After you have your Meta business account, you will do a couple of things on the spot. This will take about 10 minutes to do. So you will create an ad account inside your business manager account. So this thing that we just created, that's your business manager account, right? And then inside that account, you will be able to create an ad account. Now, ad account is obviously separate from business account. Business account is this whole thing, right? And then the ad account is just the ads that you'll run. Again, it's super simple setup. You will create an ad account. Number one, you will assign ownership to that ad account. So you'll just click on your profile and then you will add a payment. Now, by the way, this payment method, I always do 3 different payment methods just in case. So normally I put PayPal in and then I put my bank account and then I put some other banking service provider, normally Wise. Again, if you guys don't know what Wise is, this is Wise. So you just go into Wise and sign up for an account. It's free to sign up for an account, by the way. You can do it on PayPal as well and your bank account. That's normally what I do because sometimes, for example, something happens with your service provider and it stops giving the payment, but Meta ads are still running. So if you fail consistently with payments, Meta will just ban your account. We don't want that. So I normally just put 3 payment methods, one after another. If this doesn't work, then Meta goes to this one. If this doesn't work, Meta goes to this one. Obviously, if you put 3 and you open all of those accounts to Meta, they will work, no problem. There's no point of really getting scared of these things because, again, you're running ads. The point is to spend money and get customers, right? And then very important is to verify the business, right? Now, I put this as optional because you can run ads without verifying. The only problem is that I have seen that when you run ads without verifying your business for a long time, you get banned, right? Pretty quickly. So all of these things you just do on the fly. You also connect Instagram, your Instagram. If you have an Instagram, you can connect it to your business or your Meta business so that, for example, when you're running an ad on Facebook and Instagram, the beautiful thing about Meta ads is that you don't have to have an Instagram account to run ads on Instagram, right? Weird, but you can run Facebook ads and you can just click run them on Instagram without having an account and it will run on Instagram, right? But anyway, this is one of the beautiful things about this. Now, all of these things kind of go on the fly. You do it once and you will never have to do it again. It's very easy to set up. It's basically this sidebar where you will be doing all those things. Like, for example, the pages, you will be connecting your pages. Then you will be adding a ad account. Oh, sorry. I'll do this. All right. So here you will add pages. Here you will add your ad account. And then here you will connect your Instagram. If you have an Instagram, if not, then no worries. Here you will add your payments. You'll obviously, if you want to have a Meta verified account, you can do that. You don't need to. You can do that if you want. And here you're going to just verify a lot of stuff, right? So, for example, brand and safety suitability. So here you can just upload a bunch of your documents. For example, your your privacy policy, web pages, and stuff like that. If you have them, if you don't, it doesn't matter. It's fine, right? Here you will add people, right? You yourself, you'll add yourself to this account, which again seems weird because you are creating the account and you have to add yourself to the account. But again, this is how it works. It's a one-time setup. All right. So it's annoying, but don't worry. It's a one-time setup. You'll never do this again in your life. Right. One time. And it's going to be the best return on investment you will ever do in your life. I promise you, at least in your business. Right. You can also add partners to your business account. So for example, if you're working with me, here's where you would add people. Right. So you can add people as administrators. You can just add people in lower tiers. You can add people as full control over your account if you don't want to be running the ads and you want someone like, for example, me to actually come in, create the ads for you, create the hooks for you, run the ads, get a higher click-through rate, all those sort of stuff, get more leads, right? Then you would just add me there. So it's all done in one sidebar. It's pretty easy. But all of this is done in one go, right? After that, it comes to the fun part, which is actually starting to create the advertising. All right. So let's go through how to do this. All right. So the whole point of advertising on Facebook is to get these sort of lists. All right. So these are lead lists. All right. So we run a Facebook ad. I'll show you in a moment, don't worry. And then we connect Facebook with a thing called CRM. Sounds fancy, don't worry about it. It's just a place where all the people that click on your ad and give you their contact info so that you can sell them jewelry, that's where they go to. That's where all the information goes to. Now, you can also just have a Google sheet where all of the leads go through. I just use a CRM because it's just more orderly, right? I just use that. There are a bunch of benefits of using a CRM. For example, you can create pipelines email sequences, automate outreach. Very, very important, right? So that is why I do this. Now you can also automate outreach um, with a Google Sheet. It's just that you have to know where to click. I mean, it's automation, so it's a little bit more technical and it's beyond the scope of this video. But again, we want a place where we can see all our leads and where we can get notified on our cell phone when a lead pops in, right? So that this is the whole point of this, because all of this is a list of people who want your jewelry. Like imagine, right? You don't have to put a huge banner in the street, pay for a huge advertisement banner, hundreds of thousands of bucks every single week. Like you don't have to do that. You can just make a photo, make a headline, make a hook. I'll show you how to do that in a little while. Advertise it on Facebook. Just know where to click, which point of these videos of that. And then a bunch of strangers on Facebook in your local area are going to say, oh, I really want this. Here's my contact info. Here's my name, last name, email address, and phone number. Please sell me, right? That's the point. So imagine just going into your shop one day and having 20 people that you can just call, email, message, SMS, WhatsApp, Instagram, just DM them that said, I want your stuff. Imagine that. It would be pretty easy to get a lot of customers, right? Second step would be lead nurture, which is actually getting them into the shop. But again, beyond the scope of this video, right? So how to actually set up the ads. So here in a thing called Ads Manager, I'll just put it here. Ads. All right. So this is the Ads Manager. This is the minute you click on Ads Manager, which again is going to be on the sidebar. You're just going to click on Ads Manager, and then this is what you're going to see. All right. Now, just to give you a visual representation of what all of these things mean. Like the first time I went to Facebook, I hated it because it's so complicated. Like you have this thing here with the dates, and then you have something called columns and performance, right? And then you have a breakdown with a drop down there. I have no idea. These two things, I mean, what is this? And then you have ads, ad sets, and you have a bunch of drawings next to them. You have campaigns, you have duplicate, edit, A/B test, and more. Jesus, more? I mean, it's just too much. It's too much for the eyes, right? But I promise you, by the 10th time you're doing this, you don't care about it. You just know exactly what to do, what to click, what everything means. It's just given this time, all right? It's just given it time. But just to give you a visual representation of what these all mean and what's important is that you have a create button here. There's another call. You have a create button, this green button, right? And then you have campaigns, which is this box. You have ad sets, which is this another box, and then ads box. Now, later on, we'll talk about columns, right? Everything else, all of this, you forget about it. All of this, you forget about it, right? Even this, you forget about it for now, right? But basically, campaigns is one column, ad sets is another column, and ads is another column, basically, all right? And then these columns are what you see here. This is columns, right? Now, here, the beautiful thing is that you can click on it and customize it for whatever you want to do, whatever you want to track. Again, we'll go into that a little bit later. It's not, thank God, it's not complicated. Like everything else in Meta, this is not complicated, thank God, right? It just looks complicated because there are a bunch of words, numbers, drawings, images, icons that, don't worry. They should really make the UX or the UI easier. They should just eliminate a lot of the stuff there, but they don't. They're idiots. What are you going to do? So here in the column, so for example, this is one column, the delivery. This tells you, for example, here, if it's inactive, active, like if they are running, or if they are off, right? If they are inactive, they are not running, right? So this is one column. Another column is the actions, which this column is completely useless. So don't Like you can go in here and you can click X to this column and this will be removed. You won't see this anymore, right? So this is completely useless. Then we have results, which is the first thing we want to see after delivery is results. How many leads have we gotten for this? Just in your head, when you see results, just change it up to leads. That's it. The minute you see results, leads, right? So this is how many leads we got from this campaign, from these campaigns, right? We are running these campaigns like yesterday, I think. And I just don't want to show you the names, but these are campaigns, all right? They have names. Now, these are the leads. Then we have cost per result, which is cost per lead, right? We are obviously paying for a Facebook advertisement, right? This is the whole point. We are paying for the reach, right? Facebook has people. We want to get in contact with those people. So we pay Facebook to get in contact with those people, right? So this is the cost per result, per lead, right? Extremely important thing. And then here we have budget, amount spent, impressions, reach, ends. But what we have to actually have is another stat that I will talk about later. But this is the ads manager. All right. So you will get familiar with this the more time you spend in the ads manager. It's just a question of time. So if you want to get really comfortable with the ads manager really soon, just spend 8 hours in it for one day and then you'll be fine. All right. It's just a question of time, sadly, right? Thank God, actually. But now, after we have the ads manager and we understand what all of these things mean, is that we have to focus on our objective, which is lead generation, right? So a couple of pillars of getting a customer. One, lead gen. This is just traffic. We have to generate traffic. Step number one. If we have zero traffic, there's no way we can get customers. Zero. So we have to get traffic. This is what we are doing here in this video. Facebook gets us traffic. Second pillar of getting a customer, 3 steps to get a customer: lead generation, then lead nurture, which is just getting them to walk into our shop, right? That's the whole point. So that is why we pick up our phone. It's not a phone, this is a mark. But we pick up our phone, we call them. We pick up our phone, we text them. The minute we get traffic, the minute we get strangers to say, hey, I like your jewelry, please, here's my contact info, contact me so that I can buy your jewelry. We grab our phone, within 60 seconds, we call them, they want our jewelry, everyone happy. We text them, we email them, we text them again, we SMS them, we WhatsApp them, we DM them, we whatever. We get a hold of the lead, right? So that we can call them, have a conversation with them where we book them on a face-to-face appointment in your shop, right? That's the whole point. So that's what we do. And then after they walk into our shop, which again, it has an entire process of this, very simple. It's just volume and speed to contact, right? How fast do you contact them and how many times and in how many different places do you contact them? Super simple, right? Just give it time. Right? And then we have sales. Now, I understand if everyone hears sales and goes, ooh, right? All of those movies that just trash on sales, The Wolf of Wall Street, right? This is a terrible person with an incredible gift doing terrible things, right? I don't know now, right? But back then, scamming people. But honestly, sales is just a education process. It's just a conversation, right? It's a conversation that the only thing you do is ask questions. You don't even give them a pitch, right? So you ask questions like, why did you come in today? Why do you need this? For whom is this? Why is this important? Like those sort of things, right? And then you build up the importance of why they want your jewelry. And then you say, all right, so just to recap, and tell me if I'm wrong. You want this. You want it done like this. You want it by this time because this is important for you. Is this correct? Right. All right, perfect. We can definitely help you with it. Right? That's it. That's your pitch. Right? You just say what they said back to them and then say, yeah, we can definitely help you with that. That's it. All right. After that, you will go into objections because you're going to tell them a really, really high price, right? And then they're going to back off. They're going to get scared of the price. They are supposed to get scared of the price, all right? If they don't get scared of the price, you haven't priced it high enough, all right? So the point of it is to get scared, for them to go, right? And then they're going to say, I have to think about it. I have to talk to my spouse. I have all of those sort of things. I have to think about it, basically, more than anything. And then you go, no problem. Totally understand. Can I ask a question though? What do you have to think about? You tell me. What do you have to think? And then they will tell you the price. The price is high. I have to think about the price. All right, perfect. Then you don't have to think about it. We have to talk about the price. Got it first. So then you go into price objections. Very easy, right? Normally when it's price objections, it's that value objections, because if you told them you would give them, um, if you told them, hey, give me $5,000, they will go, that's expensive. But if you tell them, give me $5,000 and I'll hand you a mansion and a Ferrari, they will give you the $5,000, right? Obviously, because it's not a question of price, it's a question of value 100% of the time, always. Now, obviously, sometimes they don't actually have the money. That's fine. Then we have a payment plan, right? Anyway, that's sales. Super simple. Anyway, so these are the 3 steps of getting a customer. Step number 1, step number 2, step number 3. If obviously they are very congruent, you get strangers to actually know that you exist. Then you contact those strangers to walk into your shop, and then you sell those strangers very expensive stuff, right? So, excuse me. Now, we are focusing on lead generation here because Facebook helps us with lead generation, right? It helps us to get traffic. So that's our objective of the ads 100% of the time, right? You're going to get a bunch of different objectives on Facebook. So Facebook is actually going to ask you, what do you want? You want engagement? Do you want traffic? Do you want to build awareness on your brand? All of these sort of weird words. Or do you want to generate sales? Now, normally, if you generate sales, you're generating sales. You are sending them to a product page. We are not really talking about e-commerce at this point in time. We're talking about physical customers coming into your physical store and buying a physical object, right? But if you have an e-commerce store, that's kind of your objective, sales, right? But then you have to install a pixel. That's different, right? Now, thing is that we are going to talk a little bit about instant forms versus landing pages. So what's an instant form? So in Facebook, you have this thing called instant forms that kind of look like this. Now, Facebook provides this for you. And you basically, what we do is we just connect this to our CRM, right? To our contact list, right? So, for example, I'm a stranger on Facebook. I see your ad where you publish, where I'm just scrolling through Facebook, right? I'm sitting in my living room and just scrolling through Facebook, and I see your ad. It's a beautiful ring. Oh my God, I want this ring. I click on the ad. This is the first thing I see, right? It's first name. I have to give you my first name. I have to give you my last name, my phone number, and my email address, right? This educational level, I don't know. It's a screenshot, right? But you don't have educational level, just these, right? Now, the reason we separate all of them and don't have like full name is that we want to be able to separate that in the CRM. Because, for example, when we give them an automated response within 60 seconds, that doesn't look automated, obviously. We don't want our first name and their last name to be in the same message, right? We don't want, hey, Lucas. That's what we want, right? So that's why we separate Lucas and Acharya, first name, last name, my first name, last name, right? So this is just to separate them and to make outreach very, very easy, right? That's it. We're just making it easy for us to contact them. That's it, all right? Phone number, obviously, we have to call them and we have to send them text messages, SMS message, right? So that's why we have their phone number, and then their email to send them a bunch of emails, right? To contact them through emails. Now, This is an instant forms. Now, what is the landing page? Well, landing page is like, let's see, like this is the landing page, right? This is my landing page. So you send them to a landing page where they can click a button and contact you with your own form. Like you can create a form on your own CRM and send them from the ad, right? So from this sort of ad, you can send them to your own contact form. Now, what's the difference? So 100 honest to God, I didn't see a lot of difference. The only difference is that one is you make it yourself. You make this contact form yourself on your CRM, and then you just send them there. The other one is that you have to create this instant forms on Facebook and then connect this to your CRM. And then that's where people will, like all this contact info will go. Is like the result is 100% of the same thing. 100%. But obviously, if you want, for example, a VSL, a video sales letter, in your case, it will be a video. I would hope that you would put the exact same video of the ad, this exact same reel that you run on the ad. So for example, this reel, right? Here as your landing page video, and then here click submit contact info or get the ring, right? That's basically the difference. Honestly, do whatever you want. We do this because it's just faster, right? But that's it. That's the difference. There are a bunch of videos on YouTube and online talking about this versus this. Not a big difference. If you don't know, if you're not very techy, if you don't like to click around on the computer and build stuff and stuff like that, just use instant forms. Facebook has built it for you, right? If you like to do it yourself and you want people to be sent to your website, I have seen zero difference, right? I have run thousands of ads, send them to landing pages, messenger ads, feed ads, story ad, every sort of ad you could possibly think of, I have run them, right? I've seen no difference. The difference comes with the creative, like the actual ad that you're putting. That's the big difference. This sort of thing is not a big difference. I know people, a lot of people will try to sell you on it that this is the best way or this is the best way. I don't care, right? It doesn't make a difference. So don't spend a lot of time on it. All right. So that's basically instant forms and landing pages. Now, let's talk a little bit about the technical setup. So, for example, the CBO versus ABO. Now, what does that mean? So, do you guys remember that I was talking about the difference between campaigns, ad sets, and ads? So, basically, in campaigns, ad sets, and ads, you have different things that you're going to configure, that you're going to do in these different things. So, if you click here, you're going to see some things, click here, another thing, and here another thing, right? Here in ads, you're basically going to be making the ad. So you're going to making the photo, you're going to write the copy, headline. You're not going to actually do this on here. You're going to do this on a Google Doc, but with AI or by yourself. And then you're going to have a CTA. That's what you're going to do in ads. In ad sets, you're going to mostly do targeting. Actually, I'm going to write this down, right? You're basically be do targeting. And then here in the campaigns, what we do is we run our budget where we handle the money that we are spending here. We handle that in the campaigns. So this is called CBO. Oh, we call this CBO. You can also decide to manage your money here in the ad sets. We just found it better if you run it here, because it gets spread more evenly and it's just easier to manage. That's just how I do it. All right. This is how it works for us. That's just how we do it. I would highly suggest you just do the same because it's just not complicated. That's it. We just want to make this the easiest possible way to get a customer. That's it. Because Meta is complicated. They like to complicate things. We don't. So we just simplify this. So manage your budget here. in campaigns, sorry, not in AdSense. If you want, you can, but it's just complicated. It's just more complicated for some reason, right? All right, so we have CBO, right? And then we have placements. So where are we actually going to place our ad? So Facebook is a huge platform. It has Facebook, it has Instagram, it has stories, it has Reels, Messenger, Marketplace, Audience Network, like all these sort of stuff. And in each of them, we have a bunch of different things that we can do. Huge, right? We don't want to put this in many different places. What we want to do is we want to put it in Facebook feed, Instagram feeds, Facebook stories, and Instagram stories. That's it. And sometimes we don't even want to put it on stories. Sometimes. Most of the times we do, sometimes we don't. That's it. All of this, cross it out. Now, obviously, if you have a huge audience, yeah, you have a bunch of followers, you have a bunch of bunch of followers, a bunch of friends on Facebook. No, it's followers now. Yeah, a bunch of followers, right? You have a bunch of followers on Instagram, you have a bunch of followers for on Facebook. Of course, you want to be advertising with audience network. Audience network just means your followers. That's it. All right. So that's where we want to advertise. And we are going to be able to say where we want to advertise here in ad sets because it's the targeting, right? So targeting would be who we want to advertise, where we want to advertise. That's it. That's targeting, right? So we have this, this is called placements because you're placing the ad somewhere. Where do you want to place your ad? Placements, right? So again, I I talk like this because I needed someone to explain to me, like if I was an idiot, when I started running Facebook ads, right? So that's why all of these technical CBO, ABO, oh my god, campaigns. I just wanted someone to tell me like an idiot, like if I were an idiot, what to do. So this is me doing this, right? And then obviously the targeting is who sees your ads. Now, important thing about the targeting is that Meta, Facebook has changed a lot. So before you wanted very heavy, how do you write heavy? Yeah, heavy target, right? This was Facebook before. So you would have a bunch of filters, like you would have age, gender, place where they are. You could have a target audience, a lookalike audience, right? You had a bunch of ways to target people really specifically. However, thank God, Meta has changed. So you don't have to do this anymore, right? Heavy targeting is a thing of the past. It's not, it's inexistent. It hurts your ads if you target heavy, all right? So targeting is for us, local goldsmith shops and local jewelry shops is location and gender. That's it. Now, obviously, if you want to put age as well, right, you can put age. But honestly, I wouldn't. I would just put minimum age, obviously 18, right? You don't want to target babies. But other than that, if you don't have a very, very segmented customer base, like, oh, I have only sold to women between 35 and 45. I have never had a customer above that, never had a customer beneath that. All right, fine. Then put age, that's not a problem. But if you put age and you have like, I had a customer that's 20 years old, I had a customer that's 60 years old, I had a customer that's 50, like, then don't target with age. Just don't have age as a factor. All right. You want to have gender. All right. So this is what I have seen. Women always perform better on ads. Right. So I don't know why this is. I suppose women like women, men like women. So have women in your ads. Very simple. All right. I've just seen that it costs less to get a lead and you get more leads. So my rule for running ads is that, all right, fine. If you have a banner ad, don't put a woman in it, but don't put anyone in it. Right. But in general, please try to have a woman in your ad. Right. If you the thing about the gender targeting is that you definitely don't want to have a dude with a necklace if you're trying to get women to buy rings, obviously, right? I have seen people do this. So that's why I say I have done this. I have I have put a dude in a women's ad and it's just like I got 2 leads in like a month. It's terrible, right? So have women in your ads. If you have an ad that you're selling to dudes, to guys, have a women in the ad as well, next to the guy. I've just seen that you get more leads and you get cheaper leads. Right. So try to have women and men separately and always have women in the guys' ads. Always have women in the ads. All right. Location, that's an important one. Obviously, you don't want to be running ads in New York if you're in Sydney. Right? So location important. Target your local market, or local market just means your city. All right. If you have a huge city, all right, then obviously don't target like London, right? Immense, right? Don't target the entire city. Target your local area. Now, obviously, make it as big as possible. Right? Now, obviously, if you're targeting a very specific local area, like only citizens in this local area, obviously don't put the ad in many different local areas. Right? But if you're not targeting citizens or residents, sorry, of that very specific local area, make it broad, right? So Facebook is going to basically give you this, right? You have a city, right? Let's make a city very um, straight, New York, right? Right. Basically, Meta is going to give you this. You can target here, or you can target there, or you can target there, or you can even target all of this, right? So Meta is going to give you that option, and you're just going to choose, right? You can choose 17 miles border radius, right, of your shop, and you can target as many places as you want. You can have, for example, let me draw this better. All right. So let's say you have a city, right? This is your city. It has a bunch of blocks and stuff like that, right? All of this is your city, right? Now, sometimes maybe you just want to advertise here, right? Maybe you want to advertise here, 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 there, and there. You're able to do that. Now, maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you want to advertise all of this, right? That's not a local place anymore. That's citywide or center city. Or maybe you want to advertise the entire thing, which, I mean, you can do that. I would suggest you don't, right? Citywide. But the thing that we have an advantage as local business owners is that we are local. Like that's the advantage, right? We are not global. We are not everything for everyone. We are very specific things for a very specific person. That's our advantage, right? So I would highly suggest that you take your time to actually make ads for like that, right? Like residents of this area, residents of this area, residents of this area, resident, right? And you want to go even more targeted is that men of this area, women of this area, men of this area, women of this, right? Like you can go target in that way. So you can go, you can do whatever you want, but that's basically how Facebook allows you to target people, right? Audience selection, again, we went through this demographics, interest, behaviors. Don't do this, right? Just leave this blank. It's more expensive to get leads if you just take something in this. In demographics, interests, no, actually not demographics, it's obviously gender, right? But interests and behaviors, unless you're only advertising for women who are about to get married, then obviously behaviors, right? Interests. But other than that, don't do that. You'll just pay more, right? You'll just pay more for less. We don't want. Then we have positioning, right? This just means offer. You have to have an offer. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but you have to have an offer. That's you have your offer either in the creative or you have your offer in the headline, but you have to have your offer, right? You can even have your offer in the form, like for example, where's the form? All right. So for example, you can even have your offer here. Let me zoom in. All right. So here you can even have your offer instead of submit your contact info below. You could just repeat your offer, right? Like 40-minute Dream wedding ring consultation, right? That's your offer. Or you can even do this, right? Free. And you can put, you can even do that, right? You can even do that. 30-minute dream wedding ring consultation, right? You can do, there are a bunch of things you can do here, right? But you have to have an offer, right? The reason you have to have an offer is that just people click more, right? So have an offer. All right. So after we have an offer, time to actually build the ad. Now let's go through the components of actually building the ad. So we have a couple of components, right? We have the hook. Now this can be a visual hook, like, guys, this, right? That's a visual hook. Or a zoom in. That's a visual hook. All right. We can also have written hooks. I'll show you what a written hooks look like, but a written hook is kind of, there are a bunch of different things you can do. You can have a joke. You can have just a call out. A call out is a hook. I can assure you. Right? What is a call out? We are looking for 5 women who are residents of Gamla Stan in Stockholm. That's a hook, right? A shitty hook, but that's a hook, right? We are looking for 5 women in Stockholm who want a dream wedding room. Hook. That's a written hook, right? Now you can also say with your phone when you're making the reel, you can say, we are looking for 5 women in Stockholm who want a dream wedding ring. That's a visual hook, written hook, verbal hook, everything, right? So you have to have a hook. Then you have to have copy. Now, copy is different from the hook because it's kind of the meaty part of the written part, right? So copy is just to sell you on clicking the CTA, clicking the button on the app. That's it. That's the copy, right? It's just convincing the person to actually, like, stacking value. You will get this time for you. It's 100% for you. You describe why it's 100% for them, right? They have to feel in the copy like, oh my God, that's for me. Click. That's what it. Then we have the creative, which in Facebook and on Instagram, by far 100% the most important thing ever. This creative is the reel or the photo that they are actually stopping them from scrolling, right? So they are scrolling on their phone. They are watching whatever, Mr. Beast videos. They're scrolling on their phone and then they see your ad. You have to make them stop. You have to make their finger go, wait. That's the whole point of the creative, right? By far the most important part of the ad. All right. Then we have a headline. Very important. Normally what I do is I put the offer in the headline, but you can also put not an offer. You can just put a different headline. There are different ways to write a headline. All right. Always have a sub headline. I have seen that it just gets you more leads, right? Now you can do funny things with the sub headline, like just put 5 stars icons in the sub headline. That's a sub headline. 5 stars, right? You could put that. And then you have the CTA. Now, if you're giving them, like, for example, a catalog, then you'll put download in the CTA. If you are just sending them to a contact form and then giving them something in return, put learn more, right? Or sign up. Normally, you don't put sign up. You just put learn more, right? In the sub headline, this is the funny thing. So actually, I will show you how it works, but those are basically the core components of an ad. Now I will show you them, right? So here we have Van Cleef, huge business, jewelry business, right? So let's go through the components. So we have a hook. You can pretty see which is the hook here, right? They don't have a written hook, by the way, or at least this. I wouldn't consider this a hook, right? But this is a visual hook, right? That's a visual. That's obviously a visual hook, right? They are showing you something beautiful being made, zoomed in. That's a hook, and that's a visual hook. So we have the hook. We have a visual hook. We don't have a written hook in this ad. I'll show you where a written hook is. But actually, I'll show you right now so you don't So ads library. All right. So let's go to all ads. Let's go to, all right. Let's go to a very famous internet marketer. Let's go to King Kong, Kong.co. All right. You'll see what a written hook is. Written hook. Big boy Elon hearts this funnel, loves this funnel. Big boy Elon loves this funnel. That's a written hook. Another written hook. Here's how to tickle the pixel. That's a written hook. If your knees go weak when I whisper ROAS, you're going to want to read every word of this ad. Well, this is a hook. Right? These two are a hook. This is a hook. This is the $1 billion black tiger strategy that Kylie Cosmetics, this Kylie Jenner, used to do $400 million in sales in the first 18 months. Now, this is a very long hook. He could have done this smaller, but still a hook, right? Let's keep scrolling, right? I'd give anything to know how to finally rank #1 on Google. That's a hook. This client getting hacked feels illegal. Hook. I see what you're doing. Yes, you. Hook. Yeah. All right. So those are written hooks. This is a visual hook. Now, I'm sure he has visual hooks as well. Obviously, look at this. There's a visual hook. There's a visual hook. There's a visual hook. These are what is called creative. This is what people are scrolling and then stop scrolling, right? So we have the hook. Then the copy is here. We don't have much copy. This is basically a copy, but I don't know. They just boosted this post. So I'll show you what actual copy looks like. So he writes very long copy. So this guy, they write very long, except this. This is actually a short copy. So this is the copy. Actually, this is the hook. So let's go. This is a hook. This is the copy. Copy. All right. So hook is the first, if it's a written hook, not a visual hook, is the first line or the first two in this case. The first line. Normally this is the first line, right? This is the hook. This is the first line. All of the rest, all of this, copy, right? Now the copy, as you can see here, is just to sell the CTA. Apply here, learn more, right? So it's just getting the people who see this ad and stop scrolling and read it to actually click on the link or click on the CTA. This is the CTA, by the way, CTA. It says call to action, right? I'll just put it there. Call to action, right? So this is a call to action. Read, learn more, or here could be apply now or download, right? It's telling them, do this, click here, right? So again, we have the hook, we have the copy, and now the creative. So this is the creative, obviously the video, the photo. Like for example, this is a creative, right? And then here we have, this is the creative. So this is oh, sorry. Yeah. So this is the creative, the video, the reel that you're actually putting out there. This #1 most important thing in the ad. All right. #1 most important thing. So we have the creative, we have the hook, we have the copy. What is the headline? Right. So this is the headline. How to 2x, 4x, or even 10x your revenue in the next 12 months. Extremely potent, right? So that's a headline. The headline goes right underneath the copy. Now, I want to show you something. So we have gossip tabloids, right? So let's go to gossip tabloids, right? Now here it says Chris drunk and alone. Heavy headline, right? But we can learn from gossip tabloid magazines to see how to write a headline and how to put a headline, where to put it. Now, I used to run ads like this, and I still do, by the way. They are absolutely phenomenal. They get so many leads, good leads. They're not like shitty leads. Like these leads close. You call them, you walk into your shop, you sell them a bunch of stuff, right? So I have run a creative that looks like this. Obviously, a little bit more simple, like without this, but with this, with the photo, with a sub photo, right? And they work like a charm. So you can be fancy with your creative, like Van Cleef is. Like this is a very fancy stuff. I mean, you can keep going. Like, look at this, super fancy. Now you can do this with AI, which is not fancy, but it works perfectly. Like I promise you, AI works perfectly. Fancy actually works less better than other stuff, but gossip tabloid style ads, they kill. They absolutely kill, right? So you can learn how to write a headline and to how to position a headline by just looking at a bunch of these gossip tabloid photos. Like, look at this. There are things that are striking, right? Right? That just pop out of everything, right? Tom Cruise leaving Scientology for love, right? It's just very gossip tabloid stuff. So we have that, we have the creative, we have the headline, and then the sub headline is an interesting thing that actually he does pretty interestingly. So this is a sub headline. Weird way to switch on God mode with Facebook ads. Read carefully. Now that's a sub headline. All right. Now, what I was talking about here. Actually, I won't do that. Stupid thing. Oh no. Where's the thing? All right. So here, for example, he just clicked 5 stars icons from original. I don't know what that is. Maybe something in Australia. But you have, like, for example, 5 stars here. Like that's a funny thing that you can do, right? So that's sub headline. It just comes underneath the headline. All right. So you have sub headline and then you have the CTA, which we talked about, like learn more, shop now. Obviously, this is e-commerce, so this shop now. You have learn more as well, right? You have a bunch of these CTAs. And then you have the form, which again, we talked about the form, so I'm not going to go over the form again. But the form, try to make it as the least complicated as possible, as simple as possible, right? Just give me your phone number, your email address, your name and last name, and we're good to go, right? And then here we have something important. So we have monitoring results. So this is what I was talking about earlier. So if we go back here, where do we go? All right, so we go here. All right, there. So if we go here, I'm going to try delete all of this. The columns. So here we're talking about performances, like how to monitor results. This is basically how, all right? So you click on performances here on Ads Manager, and then you're going to have all of these columns, these columns there. Now, this is what you want. First, you want delivery, right? We have delivery here, right? Actions is not something we want. We want results, right? Then we want cost per results. And then we don't want budget right away, all right? What we want here is a stat called click through rate, or well, CTR, right? CTR. So when you click here, you're going to have a search bar, like on Google, right? So, or on any platform ever, right? You have a search bar. And with search bar, you're just going to type in with your computer, right? You're going to type in click through rate, or you're just going to click CTR, and then it's going to pop up. And then you're going to click check, because it's going to be a checkbox. So it's going to say CTR and then a checkbox. And then you're going to click this checkbox. And then it's going to appear here. It's just going to appear and you'll be able to see your stat. Now, one thing about the click-through rate, just for you guys to have a idea of what's good, what's bad. Underneath 1.5, bad. Above 1.5, good, right? Now you can even go higher. You can go 3%. You can go 4%. You can go 5%, right? Like these are very, very, very good, right? These are very good creatives. So the better these are, the better your Facebook photo reel is, right? The higher the number, the better it is. The lower the number, the shittier it is. All right. So this is a very good stat. Now, the reason we have these stats in the first place is that getting a customer is a funnel, right? Or actually, that's a shitty funnel. It's a funnel, right? So we have lead generation, we have lead nurture, and we have sales, right? Sales, lead nurture, and lead gen. But in each of these, we have different stats that we can measure so that we know what is actually going right and what's going wrong. So in lead nurture, we want to see if we are getting leads, right? But what's the first step of getting leads? Well, people have to actually be clicking on the ad, right? So we have impressions, right? We can look at impressions. We can also look at the click-through rate. Click-through rate. Are people clicking my ad? If yes, then great. We move on to the second step. If not, we have to work on our creative. And if the click-through rate is like 0.9 or 96, right? No one's fucking clicking on our ads. What's going on? We have to make better ads, right? So, all right, that's done. Then after that is that after clicking, are we getting results? Are we getting leads? Right? If no, then we have to work on our instant forms. We have to make it more simple for them to give us their contact info, right? We can do that by tweaking the headline, reducing steps, right? Or giving them a gift after they submit their form, right? These are all things that we can do to improve if we're getting leads or not, right? And then we have cost per lead, right? But cost per lead is normally outside of the scope of fixing things. So we don't really need cost per lead for this. Then we have lead nurture, right? Then we have speed to contact. Then we have volume of contact, right? These are all stats that we can measure to see what we are doing right, what we are doing wrong. If the speed to contact, if we're contacted within 10 minutes, this is wrong. We have to be contacting them within 60 seconds. This is good, right? So if this is wrong, then we just fix it, right? And then more leads will come through. We'll get more customers, right? And then same with volume of contact, right? If we are contacting them within 60 seconds on one platform once, I don't think you will get customers using that. Honestly speaking, after doing thousands of these, right? You have to be contacting them 10, 20 times per platform. You have to contact them through WhatsApp, SMS, telephone, email. If you grab a hold of them in some other place, DM them, right, on Instagram. And you have to get a hold on them, right? 10 to 20 times contact per platform. All right, fine. We're doing the work, right? You can like just do the work, right? You'll get customers, you'll get paid, you'll make lots of money, you'll grow your business, you'll settle, right? And then in sales, right? You have the close rate, right? You even have like the offer rate, which means how many times do you actually ask for the sale, right? During the sales conversation. Now, well, a lot of the times in sales, a lot of the times, not all the time, but a lot of the times in sales, you're going to ask for the sale, right? You're going to say, you wanted to go, like, ready to proceed? Are you down to do this? Right? That's you asking for them to take out their card and say, hey, all right, here's it. You want the card, right? And then they're going to say, they are not going to say yes most of the time, a lot of the time. Well, I don't know most. A lot of the time they are not going to say yes, right? That's you asking them once and them saying no, right? But the point of sales is you asking again, right? When they say no the first time, that's just you have to overcome a hurdle. You just have to overcome a fear of them that they have. So you just keep asking. There is actually talking about the Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort. There's a video. Yeah. So there's a video on YouTube that you guys can go to see. Actually, I'll show you. I'll go to incognito just so you guys don't see my stuff. Right. So we have Jordan Belfort. Yeah, no, sales video. This is a sales video, right? So actually, I'll just show you, right? Otherwise, I'll put captions on it, right? But basically, this is a high ticket sale, obviously, is to hedge funds and stuff like this, hedge capital and stuff. It doesn't matter what he's selling, all right? Doesn't matter. You're going to go and pick the meeting. You're going to notice in this video that he asks for the sale several times. So what he does is he does this thing that you guys will notice when he has is that he says this. Sounds fair enough. And he does this through this video about 4 times. 3-4 times. Sounds fair enough? You want to give me a shot? Sounds fair enough? Fair enough? Sound fair enough? Right? He just keeps asking for the sale. So he says sounds fair enough after handling objections, after going through the script, after asking the questions, and the other guy doesn't say yes. That's fine. He's not supposed to say yes at the first. You understand how crazy a sale would be if you say $25,000 for the ring and they go, oh, you're not selling to trillionaires, right? But they are not supposed to say yes at the first time. It's not supposed to, right? But that's fine. What you do is you ask them, why not? Like you ask them, what are you thinking about? They will tell you objections and you will handle those objections. After you handle those objections, you ask again, right? And again, you can track this, right? So you can track those offer rate, right? The amount of times that you actually ask, or you can say ask rate as well, right? But you have a close rate and you have, in my opinion, just the two things that matter in sales. Actually, obviously, the script matter, right? You have to actually ask the questions, right? You have to actually know the objections by heart, objection handling by heart, right? All of these things. But in terms of stats, close rate and offer rate or ask rate, right? Imagine this guy. This guy is a seasoned salesman, right? He has said, he has sold everything through trillions of years doing this. He's old, right? So, and he himself is not able to close at the first time he asks. That's the point, right? So he asks just in this video, he asks like 4 or 5 times, like 3, 4, 5 times, right? He asks for the sale and then he gets the sale, right? Why? Because he just fucking kept going, right? So ask for the sale a bunch of times after handling their objections. It is the point, right? So again, this looks kind of weird, but these are all the stats that you can track throughout the funnel if you don't have customers. The whole point of this is to get customers, right? So after you track the performances here in the columns, you know what stats to actually track, which is is it delivering? How many leads do we have? What's the cost per lead? And then the click-through rate here. And then you have amount spent. So just so you know, it's good to have your amount spent. You have impressions, you have reach. And then after that, you shouldn't have anything. This end, you should have it, right? Obviously, if you're running this sort of campaign, if you're running an e-commerce campaign, it's very different, right? But after doing that, you start spending the money. You click publish, right? So you click here, publish, and you have to click in on everything, right? Click publish, and then you start spending money. Yeah, and then you're going to start getting a bunch of leads and a bunch of customers. And that's the whole point. So I hope this video was useful. And if you want to actually learn click by click how to set all of this up in a very simple way, you will be able to start getting leads within 48 hours. Then click the link in the description of this video and I will show you click by click exactly how to get customers just advertising to strangers on Facebook.